Hey, good morning and welcome back to Questioning Sense with me, Matt. Hope you guys are well. It's all good here. It's a very grey day. It's quite miserable. Now, we're going to do a video, obviously, that's why I'm here. And this one is one that's been a long time coming. I am aware that somebody else has done something very, very similar. I think it was Sebastian, actually. He did a review that was kind of pretty much what we're going to be doing here today. So obviously great minds thinking alike, but I have had a few messages from subscribers about this topic. And this is going to be another list. I'm going to use 10 perfumes with one honourable mention. And what we're doing is we're going to be exploring oud. Now, those of you that follow us on Instagram will know that I often wipe and enjoy real oud oil. And my love for oud is growing and growing and growing. And as it does, I'm really enjoying much sort of more stronger, sort of barnyardy, animalic ouds, which I've always kind of liked. If you go through the, the back videos on the channel, you'll notice there's a lot of sort of oud related content, and especially on Instagram, there's a lot of oud related content. But I've embraced oud and I absolutely adore it. A lot of people aren't so keen on the more animalic side of it or the more funky kind of ouds. So what we're doing today is we're exploring 10 perfumes with one honourable mention that are oud related, or they have oud in the title, but I consider them very, very wearable, not challenging, and really, really easy to wear. And in the list, I've got some designer, some niche, and some real cheapies and some more expensive ones. So there's going to be fragrances in here for everybody, depending on, and also from where you are as well. But none of these are going to be particularly challenging for you to wear. The honourable mention is my actual, if you're following us on Instagram, you notice it's my scent of the day, and that's Beaufort London. And this is Iron Duke. Now this does have oud in it, and the oud in this isn't particularly challenging, but the fragrance itself is quite challenging. So this is not one, this is why it's an honourable mention, because of the way the construction of this perfume. There's so many powerful materials in it. We have smoke, we have gunpowder, we have oud, we have booze, we have leather, we have woods, we have saddle soap. So it's a real potent, and I mean the performance on this is absolutely biblical. It's such a strong perfume. So this is a challenging perfume to wear, but it's not got challenging oud in it. So this is why it's more of an honourable mention. I just like talking about it, to be honest. It's an amazing perfume and I love it. But yeah, that's why this is getting a mention. Now the following 10 perfumes are they're not challenging at all. So I just really wanted to give this as an honourable mention. And for those of you that are following us on Instagram, you can see that that is my scent of the day. Okay, so we've got 10 to get through, so it's not going to be a full review of each of them. It's going to be my whistle stop tour yet again. And hopefully, you're going to find something in here that you're going to enjoy, that's going to be within your budget, and, hopefully you can add some perfumes to your collection. But before, we get into it, what I will say is, anything with any kind of oud note or attempt at oud in it is always going to be something you're going to need to smell first. So please, in cases like this, there's a couple that are blind buy safe, and a couple that aren't. So, I'd always recommend that you test before you purchase. Right, should we get into the list? Okay, let's go. First up, Boss Bottled Oud. Now this is obviously a designer. It can be had at a very great price. There is a full review of it in the channel. This is a perfect introduction to an oud based fragrance. If you like the Boss Bottled line, or you like how Boss make their perfumes, this could be a really, really good one for you. There's the appley, cinnamony kind of opening. There is a hint of oud at the beginning, and that kind of dissipates quite rapidly as the perfume develops. It goes on a little while. And the performance on this is pretty good. It's not a knockout by any means. It's not beast mode, but it does last. It gets me through a working shift. Not, it's quite strong to start off with. You get a punchy opening, and then it kind of dies off. But all the oudy stuff and the exciting stuff tends to happen within the first couple of hours, and then it kind of reverts back to a normal one from the Boss Bottled collection. But this is good. When I bought this, I'd sampled this. I sampled Versace's one, and there was a couple of others that I tried as well. And this one was the one that I thought was the best out of all of them. But the oud in it is quite noticeable. It's obviously a clean oud. There's no funk or anything like that. So it's a good one to try. And this would be a perfect perfume for those beginning their oud adventure. So here we have the first one, which is Boss Bottled Oud. Now, these aren't in any particular order at all. I like them all. I love them all, in fact. But none of them are, you know, it's not like a top 10 in that respect. Any one of these could be the number 1, anyone could be the number 10, so don't pay any attention to the numbers, which I will forget anyway. Okay, next up, probably the most expensive on the list, and this is Rose Gold by Ouds Malak. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it because I have done a full review of it very, very recently. This is a beautiful perfume. It celebrates a beautiful Taif rose. There's lots of citrus in the opening. There's really sharp lime and things like that. And then the oud makes a sort of appearance as the perfume dries down, and then it becomes a very sophisticated oud and sandalwood affair. The oud is very, very subtle, which makes this perfume incredibly wearable, very, very classy and very, very sophisticated. A really good one, but it's an expensive perfume, so it's one that I strongly suggest that you sample first. It's also an all-weather, you know, you could wear this all year round. Totally, all of these, I think, are unisex as well, so let's get that out of the way, and I think any age can wear any of them. Now, with this one, because of the sharp citrusy opening and then that slight wander into the rose, this is actually a rose oud. But it's like unlike any other rose ouds that I've got, and in fact I think this is probably the only rose oud that I'm featuring in this list, because most of the rose ouds that I own, the oud is quite big, and that's not what we're about today. So this has a subtle oud note that appears in the dry down, which makes this an absolutely beautiful perfume. But as I've said, it is quite expensive, so please sample this one, don't blind buy it. Beautiful perfume though. Okay, on to the next one. What do we have here? We have a super cheapie. And this is from a house called Alanique, which are based in Bradford in the UK. And this is called Oud Malam. Now, this is a beautiful perfume. It's a complete melange of citruses. There's some florals in here. There's a very subtle oud in here, but it's also a clone. It's a clone of Acqua di Parma's oud. Colonia Oud, I think it's originally called. Now I think it's just Acqua di Parma Oud, I'm not entirely sure. Really, really good performance on this, and very, very strong. This was originally bought for my wife, but I've stolen it from her and I wear it a lot. Gets me through a working day with no issues whatsoever. It's a very sophisticated fragrance. It smells beautiful, and they've nailed it. They really have captured that magic from the Acqua di Parma. Now, the Acqua di Parma costs an absolute fortune. You know, it's a very expensive perfume, and this can be had for under £25. And the good thing with this, with Oud Malam, you can actually get it through Amazon now. So I think I looked at it this morning, and a 100ml bottle is £24.99. So this is a really, really good one. In fact, so much so, a couple of friends that have the original that this is obviously cloning, I just think it smells so similar. It almost, you know, I don't have the Acqua di Parma Oud. I would like it, but I can't justify buying it because I have this, and it does exactly the same job with very, very similar performance. So this is a really, really good one. Another one that's a really good starter out in the world of oud, because the oud is very subtle. You really have to look for it, so it doesn't make it too overbearing or anything like that. So there we have it, Oud Malam from Alanique. Now we will try and get links up to all of these, or hopefully Rich will put some stuff up on the screen so it'll be easier for you to find. Alanique do sample sets as well, so it'd be well worth exploring. They have quite a few perfumes that I think are really, really good. So, you know, get on their website, have a look, and pick a few samples for you to try. Okay, next up, an absolute favourite of mine, and one that Rich has just acquired, and this is called Oud Malak, and this is Chopard. This is beautiful. This is absolutely stunning. This is an amazing fragrance. It's made by Dominic, the nose behind it was Dominic Ropignon. It's been around for ages. It's got one of the prettiest bottles I've ever seen. It's beautiful, it's heavy. Just an all-round fantastic fragrance. And this has got a sort of a spicy, oudy, tobacco style fragrance. The oud, it appears in the opening pretty briefly. I think it's there for about an hour or so, and then it fades off, and then you have this sweet, spicy tobacco fragrance. If you like tobacco fragrances, this is certainly one that you should own. I think this is absolutely outstanding. It smells very similar to Penhaligon's Halfeti, but I prefer this. I think it's a lot sharper than the Halfeti, than the Penhaligon's perfume. It's just got that little bit more excitement to it. It's regal. It's such a wonderful fragrance to wear. It exudes class. This one I do think will probably suit the more mature fragrance enthusiast. Probably not one for the thrusters, but it is a good perfume. And I don't think I'll ever be without it. The other good thing is you can get this for like under £60 now, and that is just phenomenal value because it's such a good perfume. It's niche quality, and it just, I don't know, there's something quite magical about this. Absolutely love this one. So this is a real strong contender here. And certainly I recommend that you know, again, don't blind buy it. I know the temptation is there because there are some spicy notes in there. There's a bit of cumin in here as well, and that sometimes doesn't work with, you know, with certain people. Cumin, in fact, doesn't often work with me very, very well, but it does with this one. There's a tiny little bit of grapefruit in the top as well, just to give it some zing as it opens up on your skin. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful perfume. And the performance is pretty good too. It's not a beast mode. It's very loud for the first couple of hours and then it kind of dries off and sits closer to your skin, but it will get you through a working day. Strongly recommended that, and that is Oud's Oud Malak. Right, let's go. Next up, from the house of Svidovt, we have estrogens. Now, I again have to applaud Svidovt for being able to do this. You can get a 30ml, a 50ml or a 100ml bottle, and the 30ml is a really, really well priced one. So if you just go onto Svidoft's website, you can see there. Estrogens is beautiful. Now, this is a celebration of oud. Now, the oud is very subtle. If you've ever tried sort of Tom Ford's Oud Wood, you'll recognise that kind of oud that they've used in this. It's about oud, it's about cardamom, vanilla, and there's pepper, and then there's like an ambery base to it. This is very warm. It's very, very regal. This is a very posh smelling perfume. It smells, I don't know, real classy. It's just, I don't know, this is a really, really nice wear. It's something that you will really enjoy. And again, because the oud is very light, it's subtly handled. I think it's real oud as well. I do know that the nose behind this, Shfion J.A., is very, very passionate about his oud. He's spoken to me about oud quite a bit, and he has a real love for the material, so he knows what he's doing with it. And this is really, really deftly handled. It's a beautiful fragrance. Highly recommended. Definitely worth sampling this one. Right, next up, we're getting through this, aren't we? We're going to have a look at one of two from Byredo, and this is Oud Immortelle. This is beautiful. I love this fragrance. I feature it on Instagram quite a bit because I wear it all the time. I love the Byredo bottles, the magnetic cap. You know, this is a big 100ml bottle. And this is a celebration of limoncello, that fabulous, fabulous drink that you get in Italian restaurants or Italian bars. Lovely stuff. It's a very sweet, citrusy opening with some papyrus and some patchouli. The patchouli makes it quite a dignified fragrance. It gives it a real sense of class, and then the oud comes in. But it's, again, it's a very light oud. It's probably a synthetic oud that they've used. It just gives it some volume. There's nothing sharp or spiky about the oud in this at all. There's nothing that's gonna, you know, kind of turn you off it. It does at times smell a little bit like Creed's Voldemort, which I've mentioned in previous videos. I much prefer this. There's a lot more excitement to it. There's a slight smokiness in the dry down, but all the time it's kind of sweet and fun and just lovely. Totally unisex. Any age can wear it. I absolutely adore this one. This is a really, really strongly recommended one, so please, please sample it. When it came out about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, it came out to a real fanfare and there's a lot of buzz about it, but now it seems to have been forgotten, and I don't know why, because I think it's an absolutely stunning fragrance. So there you have it. That is Oud Immortelle. Right, next up, one from the States, and this is Paisley Skies. And this is from Happyland Studios. What a beautiful fragrance. It has an interesting opening. It smells very, very similar to Maison Francis Coeur de Jean's BR540. It's very airy, very sweet, does that candy floss vibe. And then other things start to kick in. There's a little bit of oud comes in. There's ylang ylang that comes into it. And then there's some lavender that just make it quite, you know, a grown-up fragrance. You know, with these sort of light, screechy perfumes, when you put some lavender in it, it just tones it down a bit. If you're a fan of, say, Oud for Greatness, you'll certainly like this because they do a similar thing. It's not a clone of Oud for Greatness, don't get me wrong, it smells completely different, but they do that kind of thing of that, you know, sort of oudy-like base and then that airy, sweet nature of the perfume. This is really, really good. Performance is excellent. This lasts all day. Very, very strong sillage as well. It's very, you know, it projects well, but the sillage is where the magic is with these kind of perfumes. And it follows you around all day. You get a wonderful scent train from this. Really, really good. Very affordable. It's a bit tricky to get it in the UK because I don't think there's anyone in the UK that sells this yet. But you can get it in from the States. And again, 30ml bottle, love it. So, you know, it's much, much less of a gamble when you're buying something you don't know in a 30ml bottle. Strongly recommend you try this one if you can get hold of it. That is really a good frag. Okay, down to the final three. And I'm picking this one from Hudsons. Now, I've been championing Hudsons for a while now. They're a barbershop from Ware in Hertfordshire, and they make 2 fragrances at the moment. And this is beautiful. As you can see, this is a 100ml bottle. Just as a side note, they have changed their bottles now, so they're getting rid of these less attractive bottles, shall we say, and replacing them with some new ones, which I think is a great move for the house. Now, Hudson's 001 and Hudson's 002 both contain a little bit of oud, but Hudson's 001 I think is more of an oud-based fragrance, or certainly oud seems to sit in it a little bit better. Don't get me wrong, I love 002. I think it's a beautiful citrus freshie that lasts and lasts and lasts. But this is more of an autumnal or winter fragrance for me. It's beautiful. There's a lot going on in it though, to be honest with you. And it's quite unique for me because it's one of the few perfumes that I own that has violet in it, and I actually think the violet is perfect in it and it doesn't react badly with me, so I find it's incredibly wearable. But this is about iris, violet, orchid, oud, sandalwood, laddanum, patchouli and oat moss. So there's a lot going on here. Oud is very, very subtle. You kind of get this sort of sharp, spiky opening with the orchid and the violet just sort of setting a scene, and then it becomes about this powdery, almost buttery, sort of orris iris type vibe that comes through. The oud just beefs it up and makes it very, very wearable. Smooth as a cashmere codpiece when it's on your skin. Beautiful stuff, very, very long lasting. This gets me through a day's work, no problem at all, with bags to spare at the end. So I really, really enjoy this one. Highly recommended. They have got a bit of a sale on at the moment, but I don't know how long it's going to last. If you are interested in a bottle, there is a discount code for yourselves which you can use, which is QS25. So if you do want a bottle, get it quick while the code still lasts. Anyway, that is that one, Hudson's 001. Beautiful fragrance. Down to the final two. And another one from Byredo. And this is called Accord Oud. Now, very cleverly done. There's no oud in it. But what they've done is they've created an accord of oud. And how they've done that, God only knows. But you have a fruity, like blackberry and oud. It smells a little bit like Tom Ford's Oud Wood, but fruitier in the opening. And then there's some white rum in here that come in, and that kicks in. And then obviously it starts becoming quite leathery after that. Beautiful fragrance. Performance is incredibly strong with this one. This is like 7 or 8 hours with good projection. And then after that, it sort of drops off and becomes a skin scent until you wash it off. Fabulous perfume. This is only a 50ml bottle. Obviously it comes in 100ml as well. Well worth exploring. And if you're looking for a fun, fruity, boozy, leathery fragrance with a hint of oud, you're not going to find a better one than that. This is perfect, beautiful fragrance, and strongly, strongly recommended. Okay, and now the final choice is this one. And this is Atkinson's, and this is the other side of the oud. Beautiful presentation, fantastic bottle. It is an expensive fragrance, but you can get bargains online. I don't think you've got any dangers of buying this on eBay, because I don't think anyone's faking this sort of stuff yet. But this is beautiful. Atkinson's are very aware about oud. Now, they wanted to have an oud collection. I think there's 3 or 4 in their oud line. And what they've done is they've made a Western style oud. So there's nothing that's challenging. What you have with this is a very sweet, woodsy, sort of ambery, lots of cinnamon, some coffee in here, which makes it absolutely delightful. A little bit of this sort of a hint of an oud in it, but it's not challenging at all. This is a really, really good perfume. It lasts very well on me. Projection's quite strong actually for the first couple of hours, and then it drops off. It has a decent sillage, but it lasts a long time, but sits quite close to the skin. This is stunning. I cannot get across to you. It's very difficult for me to verbalise just how amazing this smells. I absolutely adore it. It's beautiful stuff, and I strongly recommend you sample it. You can get samples from Atkinson's direct, so have a look on their website and see what you can find. But honestly, you know, these aren't in any particular order, but I think I may have saved the best for last in this case. But beautiful fragrance, presentation's absolutely stunning. Very classy house, you know, a lot of history with Atkinson's. Strongly recommend you explore that. So listen guys, that's it. That is 10 easy wearing ouds. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope there's something in there for everyone. If you've got any of these or had any experience of any of these, then please let me know and we can have a chat about it, or speak to us on Instagram, where I'm more than happy to engage and have a little natter. I'm always got time to talk about oud. So there you go. Listen, I hope you're well. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you watching the video, and we will see you on the next one. Cheers, thanks, and bye.